Hey, what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Will, and I am a fourth-year medical student. And in this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Dr. High Yield Step 2 CK book. For those of you who don't know who Dr. High Yield is, he is the guy who posts all of the shelf review videos on YouTube. These videos are like an hour long of him kind of just like going over all the high yield things that you need to know for the shelf exams. For those of you who don't know, he actually has a book, and I just finished studying for Step 2 CK. I actually did use this book a bit, so I figured I'll go ahead and make a review for it because there's not too much information on this book, so I figured that for those of you who are considering buying it, it'd probably be better if you guys know a little bit about the book and what I think about the book. So let's go ahead and start with the pros. Probably as the name entails, this book is actually really high yield. It's actually super concise, it's super dense, and it's super concise. So this is a pro because it's straight to the point. There's literally no fluff with this book. So let me go ahead and just show you kind of an example of what that looks like from the book. You can see that it just tells you the fact that you want to know. It's not telling you anything unnecessary. He's telling you exactly what you need to know for the exam, and honestly, what you need to know to get the answer right. Avoiding all the, traps that the questions put out there and just telling you what you need to know. Yeah, this just gives you like really good specific information. It does repeat a lot of information, which can be both a pro and a con. I kind of see that as being more of a pro because I feel like repetition is very important for remembering things. So he does repeat a lot of points throughout the book, whether it's through the same section or through the different sections. He does kind of repeat some of the information. And I feel like this book is really, really good for studying like last minute. It's great for like the last week of studying when you just want to review over everything. And in my opinion, you should probably, if you're going to get this book, I would suggest reviewing it at least 2 to 3 times. Like I said, this book has like a lot of information in it, which makes sense because Step 2 CK has a lot of information in it itself. But with so much information, to really get the most out of this book, I would say you want to read it all the way through at least 2 to 3 times. I read it once and that was very helpful, but I feel like I could have gotten even more out of it if I read it 2 to 3 times. So let's go ahead and talk about the cons. So the cons are that this book, it kind of feels like he just, he took his own notes and he just pasted them into like all of them into like a Word document and made a book out of it. Which kind of goes with the whole, it's, very concise, it's very high yield, you're not wasting time. He didn't waste any time, punctuating things. He didn't waste any time, fixing some spelling issues and some grammar issues. If you look at it, you can see that, it looks kind of like he just took his notes from his computer and, like I said, put it into like a Word document and then made a book out of it. That's not like a super con or anything. It's just like one of the first things I noticed when I read the book. To me, that didn't really like matter too much because I just wanted to get like the high yield information out of it. But to some people that might matter. The main con to me is actually the formatting. The formatting actually makes it really hard to follow along. There's really no organization in the book. He kind of just threw everything, like I said, onto a page, and there's nothing to organize it, so your brain can't really like group things together, and it can't make sense of the information. It's just a bunch of facts on a piece of paper, and there's no like subheaders or anything like that that makes it more easy to digest. It's just blocks and blocks of text with no break. With that, it makes it really hard to follow along. The thing about the formatting that kind of bothers me is that the bullet points that he puts in there are in completely random order. They don't follow any logical, sense. He'll sometimes, be talking about like some joint issue, and then he'll be talking about some cardiac thing, and then he'll go back to the joint issue like 20 bullet points later. And it just would have been nice if he put those all together so I can, see how they all relate to each other. I just kind of found it to be harder to remember things when it's just like you're learning about, two things, like I said, about like, the musculoskeletal system right here that are related to each other. And then like 10 points later, he talks about it again. It would just been nice if he put those together. Last con for me is that this definitely cannot be used as a thorough review. And that makes sense, you know, this is supposed to be the high yield facts, but it is that. It is high yield facts. It is not like a good thorough review. So if you're looking for something to start your studies with, like you're just getting started on your Step 2 CK studies, I would definitely not recommend using this right away. Like I said, this is best used in the last week of your studies, just because like you want to review all the facts that you've already learned. If you're trying to learn it from this book, you're not going to be able to learn it very well. Like I said, because of the formatting, just the way the information is presented. This is best used as just remembering like super high yield facts and like kind of picking out little things that you didn't learn, I guess, like through your initial studying, because there's some little hidden, you know, gems in here that will stick with you. But I definitely wouldn't use this as like my thorough, comprehensive like review of the material for Step 2 CK. So what is my overall review for this book? So my overall review for this book is a 7 out of 10. So the reason I give it this score is because it does have a ton of really great information in it. It is super high yield, as you know, as he claims this book to be. It does a great job with that, but the lack of formatting, the lack of structure and organization really makes it make it hard to follow along. Like I said, it is quite hard to read this book. Like I said, it's just a lot of blocks of text and it's in random order, so that makes it hard, but the actual content in here is super solid. I would definitely recommend it if you are trying to get, you know, in some studying in the last week. Read it 2 to 3 times and you'll definitely boost your score with this book. So yeah, I would recommend it to people who have already done a good amount of studying and they just want to solidify their knowledge and pick up a few extra little gems of knowledge in here. This book would be great for that. That is the end of this video. You know, if you guys have actually bought this book and what your all's opinion on this book is. I found it to be pretty useful in my studies. It does have the cons that I mentioned, but I'd be very interested in hearing what you guys thought about this book. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be posting a lot more content in the future. And like this video, and I will catch you guys in another video.